solving for rational expressions here, okay, rational equations. All right, so what's going to happen is we're going to try to turn this rational equation into a quadratic equation, all right? And then from there, we're going to solve for the x variable. So we have 1/4 plus 6 over x plus 2 equals to 6 over x. So what's really happening here? The first thing we got to do is to find the lowest common denominator because we want to be able to eliminate the denominators. We want it to be flat, all right? And the lowest common denominator here is not going to be difficult in this case here because we have 4, we have x plus 2, we have x, which are 3 different factors. Whenever you have different factors, the lowest common denominator is always the product. That means you multiply all of them together. Like in this case here, this means you have the lowest common denominator, which is then going to be 4 times x plus 2. All right, so that'd be the LCD. So what are we going to do then? So we're going to multiply each of these fractions by lowest common denominator, right? So this one is multiplying it by 4 times x plus 2, right? Same thing here, 4x times x plus 2, and then here, 4x times x plus 2, all right? Okay, so this is what we have. So what does that mean? So that means for each of them, we're going to have to simplify expressions here. 4 can cross out. You end up with what? You end up with x times x plus 1, plus 2, I'm sorry. Okay? And then plus, then here, what can we simplify? X plus 2 out. You end up with 6 times 4x. 6 times 4 is 24. So you have 24x left there. Okay? And then we continue. This one, x out. So what is left? 6 times 4 is 24 again, times x plus 2. So you see how right away we eliminated the denominators. That's the good, deed of the lowest common denominator, all right? So now we're going to have to expand, these expressions by multiplying, distribute. So x times x is x squared. X times 2 is positive 2x plus 24x, right? And this one is equal to what? 24 times x is going to give us 24x. 24 times 2 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 48. Are we good? Now we're going to combine like terms, right? Not only are we going to combine like terms, we're going to be intentional over here because we're going to move everything from the right side to the left side. Why? Because we're trying to get a quadratic equation. Remember, quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. All right? That's the standard format that we're looking for. All right? So once we get to that, so we get negative 24x, negative 24x. Oh, the good news is that with these two, they're crossed out. So we end up with x squared plus 2x. So we still have the 2x to deal with, right? So we could have also combined these two together. So we have now plus 2x equals to 48. And then we got to deal with the 48, right? So negative 48, and this one is equal to what? X plus 2x minus 48 equals to 0. All right? So once you get this square here, got to be very careful, right? So then now we're dealing with a quadratic equation. Now we can use a quadratic formula, right? So quadratic formula, which is what? The quadratic formula, which is x equals to what? Minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, 4 times a times c, and then divided by 2a. All right? So this is what we have. And then once we have this, now we can substitute in there, right? We can even do it here. So this is x equals to what? What is a, b, and c? So a equals to 1. B equals to what? 2. And then C equals to negative 48. All right? So we can always do that just to make our lives easier. But once you know what you're doing, you can go even faster, right? So this is x equals to what? So then we have negative b, so that means negative 2, plus minus, square root of what? B squared, right? B squared. So that means negative 2 to second, so that would be positive 2 to second power, minus 4, right? Times what? Times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 48. And the whole divided by 2 times 1, because a is 1. All right? So you guys see what's happening here? Okay? So then we continue. We then have negative 2 plus minus. Then square root of what? So we have 4 here because 2 squared is 4. Negative times negative is already positive, so we established that. And 4 times 48 is going to give us what? So that's 4, 8, that's 32. And 4 is 16. 16, 3 is 192, which is divided by 2 because 2 times 1 is 2. We good? All right, so once we have that, we can add this inside, negative 2 plus minus. So square root of what? 196. Because we have 196 divided by 2. So what's going to happen here? Then we got to find the square root of 196 if that is a perfect square. If not, you got to be able to break it down into a perfect square times another number, which is not going to be a perfect square. But in this case, we're talking about square root of 196, which is a perfect square of 14. That means 14 times 14 is 196, right? So we end up with negative 2 plus minus. All right, so no more radical. So this is going to give us what? 14 we said. 14 divided by 2. So this is x. Now, because of the plus and the minus, ladies and gentlemen, that means we have two answers that are happening here. So we have x, we can call it x sub 1 if you want to. And then this is negative 2 plus 14 divided by 2. What is negative 2 plus 14? That's going to give you 12 divided by 2. So x sub 1 is equal to 6. All right? Then we go to the second one here. So we have x sub 2 equals to what? This is negative 2, negative 14. And that is divided by 2. And this is equal to what? What is negative 2, negative 14? That is negative 16. So negative 16 divided by 2. So x sub 2 is equal to what? Negative 8. So x sub 2 equals to negative 8. So we end up with x sub 1 equals to 6, x sub 2, which is negative 8. So those are the two answers that we have. And ladies and gentlemen, that's for this equation here. All right? Thank you so much.